Really grateful to you, Your Excellency, for having come and to share with us maybe some of the challenges, some of the opportunities that you see, and also strengthening the European-Russian relationship. What again can we do as young leaders to contribute to a stronger relationship between Europe and Russia, and perhaps also the role that Moldova has. So if you could all maybe join me in giving a very, very warm welcome for His Excellency, the Ambassador of Moldova to Germany. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to speak in front of you and to meet the future politicians of European countries and non-European countries, which brings the hopeful that the future relationships all around the world will be much better than nowadays. You are absolutely right. For such a small country like Moldova, which I am representing here in Germany, it's a crucial importance to establish a very strong and mutual beneficial relations between European Union and Russian Federation. And I'm talking here perhaps not only on behalf of my own country, but on all former Soviet Union or today CIS countries, because we're accepting from the former Soviet Union Baltic states. It's also available for Ukraine, it's also available for Georgia, for Caucasus area. It's also available also for Poland today. When we're looking through history, permanently these relations between Europe and Russian, at that time the Russian Empire, now so then Soviet Union, nowadays Russian Federation, has sometimes dramatically consequences for whole continent. Looking forward, I follow very, very close the speech what's held Mr. Kasyanov here and answering your very interesting questions. Of course, it's not an easy task to establish powerful relations, very friendly and let me to repeat once more, with mutual beneficial relations between Moscow and the European Union. But indeed, the European Union has to deal with the reality on the field. Mr. Putin will be the next president as from the 7th of May of the Russian Federation. Mr. Putin perhaps will nominate Mr. Medvedev as a future prime minister of the Russian Federation. These two components are well known in European Union, and of course European Union should and will deal with the new team over in Kremlin and in the Russian government. For Moldova, it's a very important to, firstly, to keep our orientation toward European Union integration, and at the same time to keep a very good friendly relations with Russian Federation. Each troubles appeared between Brussels and Moscow, immediately we feel in our own country. Just an example, Moldova depends 100% from gas import from Russian Federation. You know, Gazprom was officially declared as strategic weapon of Russian foreign policy. And of course, if we are looking through the foreign policy priorities of the Russian Federation, Moscow tries to keep its influence all over the CIS region, including a lot of former Soviet Union republics. And Moldova is also not a subject, but an object of these negotiations between Moscow and European Union from one hand, and perhaps the United States from the other hand. Well, and immediately when there appears some troubles between Brussels and Moscow, Moscow reacts towards small countries like Moldova, which fully dependent from energy sources of Russian Federation. Gazprom offering a much higher price for gas delivered to in our case, in my case, to the Republic of Moldova. It was the same situation also with Ukraine. It was a similar situation with some Caucasus countries. And of course, now Republic of Moldova has to make its final choice. Where should be in the future my country? Either with European family, democratized, with a full-fledged democratic institutions, with a prosperous national economy, with an independent national economy, or we remain in the sphere of influence, not only politically, but also economically, from Russian Federation. And it seems to be a problem in overcoming the former Soviet mentality in Moscow, in the high-level politicians from Russian Federation, to understand that soft power in relations with near neighborhood, which is this formulation is very popular in Russian Federation. Soft power brings much more dividends as hard power. Unfortunately, Russian Federation tries to use hard lines in relations with Republic of Moldova, in relations with Ukraine, in relations, the case of 8 August 2008 in Caucasus. And just afterwards, sometimes realized that it could be much better to use a soft power as something like very, very hard actions. It was exactly the situation after August 2008, after this military confrontation between Russian Federation and Georgia, when Moscow suddenly realized that after this short confrontation, it was fully isolated at the international level. Now, the case Moldova offers another possibility for Russian Federation to show that some frozen conflicts in the former Soviet Union area, namely Transnistrian conflict, which is in the Republic of Moldova, could be solved not with weapons, but with a political dialogue. It seems to be that the European Union tries to convince Moscow leaders that it could be a pillar, this example of solving the Transnistrian conflict, could be a pillar for deepening the partnership relations between European Union and Russian Federation. And on this very manner was also signed on the 5th June 2010 in Messeberg, so-called Messeberg Memorandum between Chancellor Angela Merkel and Russian President Mr. Medvedev, which seems to offer this possibility of permanent dialogue between European Union and Russian Federation on security and foreign policy matter, on the level between Madam Ashton and Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister, including, and it's stay quite clear in this text of the memorandum, including the political solution, final political solution of Transnistrian conflict. Well, you know, frankly speaking, and I hope that our discussion here is under the Chatham rule, frankly speaking, Moldova is a coin in the huge geopolitical game. From one side being United States and European Union, or Western part of the civilization, and from the other side, Russian Federation with its own interests towards our geographical region. And it includes not only Republic of Moldova, it includes also Ukraine, it includes also Caucasus area, Central Asia, and so on and so forth. We have to deal with it, and we have to accept this situation, and we have to find our own strategy in dealing in the interest of my own country and all these perturbations, if I may say this one. Of course, we are doing all of our best to go closer to the European Union. Unfortunately, the Republic of Moldova is not yet declared as a country with European perspectives, because at that time, in 2003, when in Thessaloniki in Greece was decided which countries will belong to the possible further extension of the European Union. At that time, Moldova was ruled by the Communist Party, and for the Communist Party at that time was not interesting to join the European Union. At that time, the Communist ruling party was mostly interested in going closer to so-called Belarusia Russian Union. But after the unhappy case of unsigning from Moldovan side of the so-called memorandum Kozak. Kozak is not about the Cossacks, it's on Dmitry Kozak, the name of the advisor to Mr. Putin at that time, the president of Russian Federation, which tries to solve politically the Transnistrian conflict, but completely not in the favor of interests of Republic of Moldova. And at that time, Moldovan president just refused to sign this memorandum on the momentum when Putin was driving from Kremlin to airport to take a plane to Chisinau, my capital city, taking part on an official ceremony on signing of this memorandum. And can you imagine what kind of frustration has at that time Putin when, after receiving a call from my president, the Moldovan president at that time, he needs to turn back its own car and coming back to Kremlin. Of course, after that period was immediately frozen the relations between the Republic of Moldova and Russian Federation, with huge consequences, including economically one, because the Russian Federation suddenly prohibited import of Moldovan wine to Russian market. At that time, Russian market was the most market of exporting of Moldovan wine. And after this case, even the Communist Party understood at the time that the Republic of Moldova, the single possibility of surviving for such a small country, is to join the European Union, which offers a guarantee of prosperity, guarantee of security, and guarantee of democratic development of our nation and of my country. Well, it's quite difficult. It's not very easy, and it was a very summary presentation of realities in my country and in connection with this huge game between European Union and Russian Federation. I would not like to take a lot of your time, but I prefer to answer your concrete question if you have some of this, and afterwards, perhaps together either with Mr. Kasyanov to talk more in details about the behavior in the region at all. Thank you.